Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my January favorites and fails. Well, technically December through January because I didn't film this at the end of December like I normally do, just because I didn't really try much new in December. I only had a couple new items come in and some Christmassy things, so I just felt like I would put it off and just include that in January. So if you're new here, this is something I do every month. I come back and I talk about the products that I've been using over the course of the month off camera. Some of these things I have a first impression or a review on and I just have more thoughts of, or some of them I haven't used on camera at all, so it's just something I've used behind the scenes and I'm now going to talk about. Also, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Colin. I am a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup with a soft spot for indie makeup and apparently high-end makeup, and I tend to take a pretty analytical approach to my reviews and my makeup collection in general, and I have new videos every week, so I'd love to have you subscribe. So, like I said, this is everything new-ish that I've been trying for the last couple months now. Some of these things I do have videos on, most of these things I do have videos on, so they won't be new to you. And it's not at that many things. Most of it is like multiple shades of the same thing. So, I'm gonna start with kind of tools and general products, then I'll do other makeup and then palettes, eyeshadow stuff at the end. Also, just a heads up, there will probably be some thoughts on the current discussions around private labeling and indie brands near the end of the video, so I just wanted to give you a little warning about that, because I will probably talk about that at some point near the end. So the first thing I want to mention is I finally bought a mixing palette. So I got this on Amazon for like $5. It is a mirror, so it's just going to reflect back. Not a bad idea to have a mirror, but I do really like that I have this. So I really don't like putting foundation on the back of my hand and then using my brush to get it. That is my preferred method to than putting it on my face straight or putting it on the brush. But then you lose product from it like drying and melting into your hand, and then I have to wash my hands a bunch, and I just don't like that. I already wash my hands a lot because I have OCD and like anxiety issues as far as textures. So I wanted something that I could put my foundation on, maybe if I'm mixing something into it like Low Lust, I have that surface. Also, this has really been nice for when I'm using things like the Haus Labs paints, because these dry really fast, more on your hand or your face or like your skin. They don't dry as fast when they're on a surface like this. So if I want to mix a couple together and make a new shade, it's a lot easier to mix them on here than it is on the back of my hand. So I've been very, very happy with this $5 purchase. It also came with a little spatula, so it's been very useful and very cheap. So very happy I have that. The other tool thing is, and I will probably do a full dedicated video on these, especially if I get some more of them, and I've had them for a little bit longer, but I did want to mention my Sonia G brushes. So I got some money for Christmas and decided to finally buy some Sonia G brushes. I bought 4. I was gonna buy the Fusion Eye Set because I really wanted all of them, and I almost bought it when it went live, but I hadn't tried them before, so I thought I would do a mix. So I got the Jumbo Base, the Jumbo Worker, and then 2 eye brushes, the Blender and the Worker. These are all from the Fusion set. So these are all designed for cream and liquid shadows. I mean, you can use them with powder, and I have, but the blend of synthetic and natural hair is supposed to be especially good for liquids and creams, and I use a lot of liquids and creams, so I really wanted to try them out, and I am so unbelievably happy with these so far. I want more. I want to buy more. I was very tempted to buy her new Kiyaki set. Well, the brushes, especially the buffer, because I have a buffer brush and I hate it. Like, it's from like Eco Tools or something, and I've had it since I started using makeup in 2019. And I've kept it around because the shape is unique to all the other brushes I have for buffing and like using a finishing powder, but I hate the actual brush. It doesn't feel good on my face. I don't like the way it does product. I really need a better one. My only hesitation with the Kiyaki brushes is they're a travel set, so they have small handles, and these are already not that big. So like this is the Jumbo Base, and the way I saw other people describe this, I thought it was going to be huge. People talked about how it was a really big brush, and I would see all of these people on YouTube hold it up and it looked giant. And then I remembered I am a 6'2" large human. Most of these people reviewing it are probably not as big as me. So, and then I got it in person. I was like, yeah, this is definitely smaller. I've seen at least one person say this is such a big base brush, they could do their whole face in like 2 swipes. And I'm like, it's big, but it's actually one of the smaller dedicated base brushes I have. But I love it. I used it today, so it does have a little bit of product on it. I had an important call earlier that you will probably hear about at some point. But I wanted to do quick, easy, I feel cute makeup. I wanted to look put together. So I used my Haus Labs foundation and a sheer layer around the middle of my face, and I used my concealer, and then a little bit of my Haus Labs bronzer and Rare Beauty blush, and then just some brow gel. And this puts on your base so beautifully. It moves, like, I know Alicia Archer talks about the way the bristles move in her videos a lot. And now that I've used these, I understand, and I've done like side-by-side comparisons with my rougher brushes and my synthetic brushes, and it's just so soft, but it blends, like the bristles all move together. It doesn't, because it's that mix, it doesn't get all clumpy and gross like my synthetic brushes do. And it just works beautifully, and I need more. I really need more. I am jealous of everybody that gets PR from Sonia G, because these are beautiful. Like, I want the Kiyaki set one because the brushes look like useful brushes for my collection, and also the wood handle is beautiful. So I might buy one if they're still in stock when this goes up. But my only hesitation is I think the brush is like the size of just this without the bristles. So I need to do some measuring and see how will that feel in my hand. Do I have anything else that's that size? That is how I approach buying, like measuring things, picking up similar things, holding them in my hand, using them. I'm a very thorough and analytical person, but this is so good. I will probably eventually get a second one of these, like Haute Mess Tom did, so that I don't have to worry about one of them being dirty. I also really want the classic base now and the mini base. The mini base more for like cream bronzer and stuff. The classic base is a little smaller than this and round, and I think really good for kind of a buffing motion, which is, this is a little more swipey. And I use the buffing motion a little bit more. So I got this because it was a little more expensive and I really liked the idea. I don't have anything that's this shape exactly. But now that I have this and I know I like this, I really need to get the classic base because it looks so beautiful. And I really want more eye brushes. I'm going on for a long time about these brushes. I feel like this whole video is just gonna be about these brushes. And then this is the Jumbo worker. So you can use this on your eyes, especially for me. I could use this as like all over, or like use it with primer, but it's been a really good concealer brush. It's like the perfect size and shape to pat concealer in. I really love it. I need another one exactly like this, and then I want some more face brushes, and then I really need more eye brushes, especially the fully natural hair ones, but I really want the rest of these too. These are beautiful. I've used these a lot. I've used them with powders, and the way they blend powders is so soft and effortless, and it just looks beautiful. I really love them for powders and creams. I want more shapes and more of them. One thing that I really love is doing something like this. This is the Haus Labs pigment paint in Cocoa, and I can do, I'll just put it on that palette. So I can use this paint and like a dollop of that big. It's too reflective, so you're gonna see everything. But like that tiny little dot of product per eye, or that's 1.5 eyes basically, for a soft smoky eye. And the way these blend them and pick them up is so beautiful. So one of the things that I've tried before is using a synthetic brush, and it would sometimes it would clump the product, and so it'd be like kind of patchy, and I'd have to go over with a couple layers to get a smooth, opaque. I don't need that with this. I can just use that tiny little dot, and take like this one, this is the worker, which is my go-to shape for that kind of thing, and I'll just like tap it along the lash line and then blend it up. And if I really want, I can use this to make sure the edges are really blended. And it's beautiful. I've used them with other shadows too, and I need more. I need more. So sticking with eye products, I did get another melt eyeliner. So I have a few of their colorful liners and I really love them. They are ultra creamy, like almost too creamy compared to like the lethal eyeliners I have and other gel liners that I've tried. So you need to give them a second. But they dry down, they last all day, they're beautiful. And I got this shade Spliff, and you can see I've used it a lot. I've made like a tiny little dent in it, and it's so good. I love it so much. It's the perfect, like you can do it's dark brown, but almost black. So like, it's not quite black. So you can use it as like a wing or, you know, tight line with it. Or you can blend it out with those brushes or another brush all over the lid for an easy one and done smoky eye. So like if I want like a lighter, warmer brown, I'll pick this one up. And if I want a darker, cooler tone brown, I pick this one up. And I've been using these a lot on a day-to-day basis for basically what I have on my eyes. Right now it's just bronzer, but that kind of effect, but darker, or like an actual brown smoky eye, perfect. Okay, and then sticking in that kind of range of eyeliners and eye products, I have 3 eyeliners that I've tried recently. So the first is the Melt Water Slick Gel Pencil. So this is like a pencil version of Spliff. It's not quite as dark, but it is a really dark kind of chocolatey brown, and it is so good. So I already had the apricot color and the olive color, and now I really want there's another brown one that's like a lighter brown. This is so good. It works really nice in the waterline. It's very creamy. But one thing that I've really liked with this is it's creamy enough that you can blend it on the lid, but it does dry down. So there's been a couple days where I put this in my waterline, tight lined with it, and then smudged it on my lid for a quick smoky eye, used my bronzer to set it, lasted very well, looked really nice. I actually had a random guy on the street pause and like stop me and be like, "What's on your eyes? It looks really nice." And I was like, it's literally just brown eyeliner. Looks really good, really easy, effortless. Exactly what I want in this kind of formula. So the reason I wanted to talk about that and pick it up is because I did do a video where I talked about the Victoria Beckham eyeliner. This is also really creamy and supposed to set down. So you can use it in your waterline or do a smudgy look with it, because it even has a built-in smudger. But this doesn't set. Even if I do set this, even if I use eye primer and set this, it doesn't last very well. I don't know if I have a dud. I don't know. I asked the brand and I didn't hear back. But it's really creamy and I really like the way it looks, and I want to like this formula. But I've talked to Rupi and some other people and I don't think they've had luck with it either. So I think if you have oilier eyelids, it's just a no-go. But this looks so pretty. But so I'm now on the hunt for like the perfect green eyeliner. So if you have suggestions, let me know in the comments. There's one from Urban Decay that looks promising, and those also you can blend out pretty well. They're not as creamy, but you know. But the only way I've gotten this to last an okay amount of time is eye primer. Set the eye primer, put this on top of it, set this. Like, I have to go through a lot of steps, so it's really finicky for a $30 eyeliner, and I just don't love that. This is just as creamy, but actually sets and lasts. So I much prefer the Melt one. And then the other one that I got recently is Serial Monogamist from MAC. And I really like this. It is another green color. So I'll swatch these on my hand so you can kind of see. So here is the Victoria Beckham. It's supposed to be olive, but it's not. It is just like a dark forest green. I mean, they describe it as a forest green, but then they named it olive, not forest, and I don't understand. And then here's the Melt, and you can see it's probably even creamier. Like, just drawing it on my hand, it's even creamier. And then this is Serial Monogamist, which is actually olive, like a dark olive with a little bit of a metallic to it. really beautiful and way more olive than the metallic olive one from Haus Labs. So that's why I picked it up. Really nice, but this is definitely one of those formulas where, kind of like the Haus Labs, where you can smudge the edge and make it kind of a soft line, but you're not gonna wanna put this all over the lid and use it as the base for a look or anything, because it's not that blendy, but the Melt one definitely is. Okay, so I'll talk really quickly about the Lisa Eldridge shadows. I have a whole video swatching these and talking about these. I love this formula. I love these shades. I've been wearing Titania a lot. I've worn, which one is this one? This is Viola. Yeah, Viola, yeah. I've used Viola a handful of times, but Titania is like my go-to. And in that video, I did swatch them next to shimmers from other brands so that you could see the tone next to other things. Most of the videos I saw about these just swatched them next to her other shades, but I wanted to swatch them against other things like Pat McGrath and ABH and stuff, so you can kind of see what they look like compared to shadows you might already have. But I love them. I think they're totally worth the money. I do have the Pat McGrath ones on their way. I got the shipping notification today. I bought 2 of those and I'm excited to try them out. I got the green one and the Cool Tone bronze one, and I really want to compare them to these. These are like $25 and the Pat McGrath are $29, but you get a lot more product. You get like twice, if not more than twice, the amount of product in the Pat McGrath one. So I really want to do a comparison. And then speaking of Pat McGrath, I did pick up some more for lipsticks. So she had a sale sometime in December or maybe the end of November, but they came in December, I don't know. But it was, I think it was the end of November, but it was her lipstick formula. They're normally 30 something dollars, but these were on sale for, I think $10 a piece or something. I don't remember, but I spent like 36, 40 bucks. And I got 4 more shades. So I already had 2 and I loved them. So I had to get a couple more. I don't like it as much as the Lisa Eldridge formula, which is what I have on. These are a little less soft matte, but I still really love these. So I had to get some more shades. So I already had Flesh 6 and Fever Dream, which is a beautiful kind of corally red. So I got Flesh 3, which is a really beautiful rose. Really, I've used that a couple times already. Really like that one. I got Omi, which is another like nude, but like a little more pinky than rosy. Really nice everyday kind of shade. And then I got Guinevere, which is a little vampy, and really love this, like, it's showing up brighter in my camera, so we'll see what it looks like when I edit, but it's kind of it's a dark blood red. It's called she describes it as a blooded crimson, so I had to get that. Also Guinevere. And then the last shade I got was Obsessed, bright orange lip. I love an orange like this. I have one from Haus Labs, but this is a little different, so I had to get this one too. I also recently got the Clinique Black Honey as a sample, like a gift with purchase. So this is a mini size, and I've been loving this. I wore this in my last video. I've worn this a lot lately. It's like, you know, a tinted lip balm kind of. It's comfortable. It makes my lips just look perfect. Like your lips look better, but not, you know, matte. But it doesn't just immediately rub off like a lip balm would. It's really nice, and I will probably buy a full size of this when this is gone. Okay, and then the one kind of fail I had this month was also a lip product, and it is the gingerbread cookie lip oil. So if you saw my video on the Trixie Cosmetics Nighttime Realness palette, I did also buy this from their holiday collection. Love the color. It's kind of a terracotta orange. Really love the color. Really, really, really hate, and also feels nice on the lips, but really, really, really hate the smell and the taste. It's not just scented, it's flavored. Like it tastes like a gingerbread cookie, but in like a fake way, kind of like, I don't like candles that smell like cookies or baked goods. They always I don't eat candles. They always smell artificial, like that artificial vanilla-y. There's something in them that's supposed to replicate the smell of a baked good that universally smells gross to me. I don't like vanilla scented things either, but this is definitely tastes and smells like a gingerbread cookie candle versus the real thing. My best friend got the jelly one, and that one does smell and taste like jelly. Like, that one's less offensive, but don't love the taste and flavor. And then it has stevia in it, so it's like legitimately sweet, and it's overwhelmingly sweet when you first put it on. And I know people who think stevia tastes bitter, so, and there is a bit of a bitterness, like it's overwhelmingly sweet and a little bitter when you get too much of it. So I will use this up probably because I spent $10 on it and I like the lip oil color and feeling, but I will not buy this again unless they come out with like an unscented one, because it's too much. It's just too much. I can't do it. Okay, and then the last product that is a face product versus eye product is the Rare Beauty highlighter. I did do a mini review of this. This is the shade Exhilarate, and it's a really pretty highlighter. I kind of wish I would have gotten the True Gold instead of this one. I don't remember what this one is technically described as. Let me look it up. So this is described as a champagne gold versus a true gold. A lot of true gold things look too yellow and too gold on me. They're made for darker skin, and I think that would look beautiful on darker skin, but I've seen people around my skin tone use it, and I'm like, oh, I wish I would have gotten that one. But this is really pretty. It's just really blinding. It's really soft. It's really silky. It has no sparkle in it whatsoever. So if you want just a blinding metallic highlight, totally worth it. It's just not something I'm gonna wear every day because that's not my everyday. I like either something a little fun, like a green highlighter, or a glow from within mostly, or like the Kaleidos Shifty one. So depending on the look, but if I'm doing like a standard base, I don't want blinding metallic, I want glow from within. So I'm not mad that I got this, but it's not my favorite formula. But it is a really nice formula. It's just not something that I need, but it could be the perfect product for you, which is one of the things I like to emphasize when I review products, is even if this isn't my perfect product, it might be yours, because makeup is so subjective. Okay, so I've got 2 single eyeshadows and then a few palettes. Normally the eyeshadow portion is the biggest portion of the video, but not lately. So the first thing I want to mention is the Victoria Beckham single shadow. This is the Lid Luster in Velvet. I adore this. Those Sonia G brushes work really nicely with this. I generally use my fingers though. I love this. I will probably get, especially if there's a sale in the future, I will probably buy more shades of this. I really like this. It's sparkly. It's not as creamy and like easily one and doneable as the Lisa Eldridge. It's more sparkly and textured. So if I want like a beautiful metallic eye or a soft blended eye, I go with the Lisa Eldridge. But if I want like texture and sparkle and glitter, the Victoria Beckham. The other single shadow that I've got recently and used quite a bit is the Urban Decay Moon Dust in Lithium. I also really want Space Cowboy because it's a little more sheer, but this is beautiful. So I was really tempted to buy the Makeup by Mario palette, but I really only wanted it for the shimmers. The mattes were fine. They were a little on the light side, and I between the reviews I saw and touching them myself, I was like, I don't know, I don't need this. I don't $68 want this palette. But this was like $24, and you get almost 2 grams of product, and it is the shade that I wanted from the palette the most. I swatched them side by side at Sephora, and this is a bigger pan of the shade that I liked the most in the Mario palette. So I was like, I'd rather spend $20 and have this than spend $70 on a big palette. I really love this. It's so pretty. I've worn this in a couple videos. Like, I don't remember which one it was, but I was like, I just did a wash of sparkle or single shadow. It was this. It's so pretty. Blend the edges. It's got like a nice taupey dark brown base. So you get the wet effect sparkle, but then like the edges have that little bit of taupey brown blended out base color that makes it like a perfect one and done. And it's so pretty. I've worn it a bunch. And for a really, really beautiful smoky eye, I put this over this. So good. Okay, so now to talk about eyeshadow palettes. I have a handful here, but I'm gonna start with a disclaimer, and we're gonna talk about the drama or issues around one of them. So, private labeling, I can do a whole video on this if you want. Jamila just did one and I will link hers down below. I really liked her video. Private labeling is when you don't own the formula itself. So that is when you buy shadows from another company, from a lab that makes the formulas, and you say, okay, I want this black, I want this multi-chrome, I want this shimmer, I want this. And you can buy them from multiple brands if you want, or multiple labs, and you create a palette with them. Lots of indie brands do it. Lots of bigger brands might do it or might have started with it. Everybody knows Morphe started doing it, started as private labeled brushes. I don't have a problem with private labeling, especially if you're transparent about it. I do think people are automatically against it because they think it's somehow inferior. I also see, which it's not, it's just not bespoke to that brand. It's just not their formula. I also see people automatically assume, often in the comments on Instagram and things, that like if something is made in China that it's automatically private labeled, and that is also not true. You can have private labeled stuff come from Germany, from Italy, from the United States. Like, you can have private labeled stuff anywhere. There's actually a lot from the US because there are made in the United States labs. But, so automatically assuming that it's bad because it's from China, that private labeling is from China, and that everything from China is private labeled is just, it's another discussion, and there's a lot of xenophobia and racism built into that we need to unpack. Don't really have time for that today. So if you want a video about any of this stuff, I'm happy to. Like I said, Jamila did a video, really like her video. She had some really good information in there. And she's even compiled a list of like handmade brands like Terra Moons and Divina and Cleona and some of those indie brands that are handmade versus bought from a lab. So I don't have a problem with private labeling. I think the only brand that I've seen that's been very open and upfront about it is It's Belle Cosmetics, which I really appreciate. I don't really like, I think there's a fine line. I don't care about private labeling. Some of my favorite brands are probably private labeled and can do it really well. They do a really good job with artwork and curating a color story and all of that. Not a big fan of brands that sell pre-made items. So like, this is a color story or an item that already exists in its packaging and you're just putting a different label on it. There's less effort, there's less thought, less curation, no curation actually. So I don't really love that as a thing, and I personally don't buy those if I know that that's what it is. If you like those, that's fine. There's no problem with liking those kind of products. But, so this is the Ladybug Glow palette. This I got in PR, I did a video on it, and I really enjoyed the formulas. It's not my absolute favorite color story, but it was the brand owner's like perfect color story, and I really appreciated that. Really love this purple, really like the multi-chromes. The shadows all worked well, even if it's not like my favorite colors. And I was happy to do a review and try it out. But then like maybe a week after that, I mean, a couple weeks ago, they posted, oh, we have a second palette and here it is. And it was much bigger and very different and looked very different. And then I immediately saw multiple accounts that post new makeup or talk about makeup on Instagram point out that it is identical to a palette you can buy for half the price on Amazon. So it is probably one of those like pre-made objects that is just, you put a new label on it and call it a day. And multiple people were like, I mean, that's fine if you do that, but I wish brands wouldn't do that. I wish if you're gonna do private label or you're gonna do whatever, at least like curate a color story. And I saw a lot of valid criticism about that, at least. I don't think any of it was hateful, any of it was mean. It was all valid, in my opinion. And I agree with most of it. And my friend Steven posted, I'm really sick of indie brands doing this kind of stuff. Like, I understand there's gonna be a markup, and that is also a discussion we have to talk about. Like, people think there shouldn't be much of a markup, but like, they have to pay themselves. They have to pay for the products. They have to pay for the shipping. the more you buy, the cheaper it is. So it might have been a little bit more expensive depending on how many they bought. There's a lot of factors into the cost. So markup is fine, but just taking an existing item and changing and like putting a label on it and charging a bunch of money with like very little effort. I agree. He was like, I don't like that brands do this. And I agree, I don't like that brands do that. But then there was all this drama and all of this stuff. Like the brand owner posted on the brand page that they were going to be closing down shop because they'd been bullied and harassed. And she sent really mean messages to Steven that I am not okay with. He's posted screenshots to them because he is very transparent about that kind of stuff, and posted exactly what he said in response and what he said in his Instagram story. He keeps receipts for everything. He never said anything hateful. He never said anything rude. He never said anything mean. And suddenly he was being called ableist because the brand owner is disabled. But not liking a product they make doesn't make you ableist. Making you ableist would be like, I don't like this because the person's disabled and they couldn't make a good product. You know, like ableism is very different. You can't just throw the word around. And then they were like, well, we're not closing, but we got hate. And I saw some big Instagram accounts being like, I can't believe people are being hateful and doing all of this stuff. And I was like, I even commented on one of them. Like, I haven't seen any hate. I've seen valid criticism, but I've not seen bullying. I've not seen hate. I've not seen anybody be harsh or overly harsh towards this person, this owner, who was a subscriber of mine. I don't know if she is. I think she still is. But I didn't see any hate. And there might have been stuff behind the scenes, not from Steven. And Steven didn't send anybody to go hate on them or anything. He, as a consumer, has the right to say, I don't like this product. And I think one of the problems with the indie community is the indie creator community is pretty small. We all tend to know each other. The indie brand community is pretty small, and we tend to form even stronger parasocial bonds with each other. Some of us are friends, like Steven and I are friends. We have seen each other in person, and we text each other every day. Some of us are not close like that, but we do have a strong bond because we just have similar interests and talk periodically. But I think we take that too much, and I saw people like, I just saw so much artificially inflated drama. I understand the brand owners' feelings were hurt from receiving the criticism and seeing people be disappointed in it. But I have to say, if you're gonna own a brand, you're gonna see that, and you have to be able to deal with people not wanting to buy your products or critiquing your products. And if you can't handle that, do not start a business. It's kind of like, if you can't handle getting spam comments and being called horrible things in your comments, don't start a YouTube channel, because it's gonna happen no matter what. Like, it shouldn't happen, and we shouldn't have to deal with unnecessary hate, but people not liking you or people having criticisms of your products is gonna happen. So, like, I get daily spam comments making fun of, like, calling me gay, which I am, so, like, why is that a spam? But that's beside the point. I get daily hate comments. I just report them. It's fine. I don't take it personally because I don't know these people. But if I was also opening a brand, I would expect there to be criticisms. Not everything is going to be universally loved. And if someone says, I don't like this for this reason, that's valid. And if you're a brand owner, you should take that feedback and move forward with new products based on that. So I did enjoy using this product, but I will not probably feature this much in the future, because the way the overinflated drama and the way everything was handled and the messages I saw really put a bad taste in my mouth, and I don't want that in my life. I don't want that as part of my channel. I don't want that in general. But because I did film a video with that recently, I did want to include it here and talk about that, and just apparently take up a huge chunk of this video talking about that. If you would like an actual video on private labeling and stuff, kind of like Jamila did, because I have information and a lot of thoughts, let me know. I can definitely do that. But now to the last couple palettes that I did also really enjoy. So I have 3 palettes here. So I've got the new Nomad palette, the new Trixie palette, and then the Melt palette I just did a video on. So this will be fast. I really like the Trixie palette. I've used it I didn't get this until I posted the video. When was that published? That was like the 19th. So it's the 30th today. So I haven't had this that long. I will keep updating you. But so far it's been nice. I've used it 2 other times off camera and it worked really well. It's a really pretty blue-gray palette and I think it was really well done. I think it's on par with Trixie's other eyeshadow formulas, which I really enjoy. The new Nomad palette. My video, or I've done a couple looks. I recreated the one of the looks and I've done a couple others off camera, just in my spare time. And I do like this palette. I don't love this aspect of it, but I do really like the theme. I love the color story. I really like that it's available as, not all of it, but a lot of it is available as singles. So if there's only specific colors you wanted, like my favorite one right here, Tragedy, that is available as a single. But what I said in the video stands still. Love this 9-pan palette. I will keep using this a lot. I will probably use this shimmer down here and maybe this matte here, but I probably won't use the rest of these much. I just don't like pink and red eyeshadow on myself. I think it looks fine on other people, but it's not something I like on me. I like a pink lip sometimes, like a really bright pink lip. I like a pink shirt. I just don't like pink eyeshadow. I just don't like the way it looks on my eyes. So, but even the brand knows that. I said that in our DMs. Like I was like, I think this is beautiful. I probably won't use the red side much, but I'm grateful to have it and I will give my honest opinion in the video and really love the other 9-pan, the dark side. And then the last thing that I've tried and gotten recently is the Mary Jane palette. I just did a video on this. I've used it a bunch of times off camera before that video, and then I used it in that video. Loved that look. Really like this palette. I think this got an unnecessary amount of hate. I think it's really beautiful. And I will be talking about this more in my unpopular makeup opinions video, but I just think it's a really pretty palette. You're probably gonna get a little fallout with this shimmer, but not too bad, especially if you're careful. And I think if you like a smoky eye and you like a smoky color story, it is what it says it is. So I am very grateful that I got this and slowly building out my collection of melt palettes because they're a really wonderful formula for me. Okay, so that is everything. Sorry about the long tangent in the middle, but I felt that was necessary and hopefully you understand. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.